All right, so welcome to day 48, and you'll see I am still on location, still traveling. If you can tell by the beads, I am in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. It is still tax season, so I am still working, but I got out on Bourbon Street today. I don't know if I was overwhelmed or I don't know how I can explain Bourbon Street, but lots of people, um, lots of let's see, music, but lots of smoke, like cigar smoke, and um, lots of beads flying around. I didn't see any naked women. I didn't see anyone like, you know, exposing themselves for beads. So I didn't see any of that. There is a heavy National Guard presence here. So yeah, that was Bourbon Street for me. And I'm convinced that I will need to come back to New Orleans to experience it without it being Mardi Gras. Like honestly, that's my um, that's my I think revelation that I've had since being here. But today, I'm not going to let being in New Orleans stop me. We are on day 47, I believe, of 90 days. So I'm coming to you live 90 days for the series 2026 Tax Talk. And today I'm actually really excited because we're going to be talking about one of the things that I was most excited about for this one big beautiful bill, and it was related to the QBI deduction. So, of course, I'm going to pull up my Google Sheets because I'm not in front of my whiteboard. So, let me share this. Yeah, it's day 47. Wow. All right. So, what we're looking at right here is first, I like to give you a little bit of background first. So in 2017, the Tax Jobs and Cuts Act that was signed into law had introduced this whole idea of a qualified business income deduction. And it was one of my favorite things because it meant for our industry that you had to qualify for it. But for our industry, if you had profits, um, you would see uh, 20% of that amount be non taxable. So if you see here, I have 2018 through 2024. It was the Tax Cut and Job Act, like I said, the law. And then this QBI deduction rate was 20%. So if you had $100,000 in profit, you could deduct 20,000 and then you would only be taxed on 80%. I mean, I'm sorry, 80%, which would be $80,000. So this was great, and I love this tax deduction for all of my business owners, especially because, like I said, you had to qualify for it. So it wasn't available to all industries, but it did apply. It was applicable to the hair industry. So this is one of those tax deductions that I was really excited about for all of my clients. Now, this particular tax deduction was set to expire for this filing season, for the 2026 filing season for 2025. So I was kind of bummed. I was like, oh man, like we're not going to have the QBI deduction anymore. But with the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill, I was pleasantly surprised to see that this new QBI deduction is actually permanent. I was like, whoa. Um, I was really, really happy about that. So now we don't have to worry about this tax deduction expiring. So that's awesome because see here, this was going to be expired under this tax law. So now we have the One Big Beautiful Bill. So let me show you under the One Big Beautiful Bill, and let me hide. Well, no, let's see before I talk about that. Okay, so now let's talk about the fact that it's back. So I want to kind of explain how this is calculated in a way. So let's say you had business profit, and this is pretty low, but I'm just giving you an example. Let's say you had a business profit of $1,500. Well, $1,500 times 20% is $300. So that would be your QBI deduction for this profit. But another thing that this one big beautiful bill did, it didn't just make it permanent, but it also set a minimum. So let me go here. So this minimum, before I go there, so this minimum states that if you have a profit of over or of at least $1,000, then you get a minimum QBI deduction. So you think of it as a like a startup stimulus in a way, because if you have $1,500 in profit, 20% technically is supposed to give you a $300 tax deduction. But this new $400 minimum QBI says that even though you are supposed to get 300, they're going to just give you $400 in this tax deduction, which is pretty nice. But what that means is that if you are below $1,000 in profit, you get nothing. And so that's what this last column shows, because now that you get this new minimum, the moment you are below $1,000 in your profit, you don't get any QBI deduction. So, in my opinion, it's totally worth this trade off, because once you start making over $1,000, this is going to be huge. And now that this is permanent, you don't have to worry about, making sure that you don't miss it, because now it's going to be permanent starting in 2026 filing season for 2025. So, if you are self-employed hair professional, or if you have a hair business, or salon or barbershop or a spa, and you want to make sure that you are getting this QBI deduction and every other deduction or credit that you are entitled to, I want to invite you to work with us at Hair CEO. We are working with a limited number of clients this year, and you can reserve your spot by clicking the link in the description. And, someone from me or someone from my team will reach out to you at the time that you schedule and just get more information about your business and what it is that went what it is that happened in 2025, to make sure that we're going to be filing all of the correct forms for you. Yeah, so that's today's topic. Tomorrow I'll bring you another topic. It'll be day 48, and I will see you then.